38,000 school pupils are taking part in the UK's first School Diversity Week. Children aged 7 to 18 years old are involved in the campaign to raise awareness of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender issues in schools. Well, according to recent research, 90% of secondary teachers have witnessed homophobic bullying. The same number still hear the word gay used in a negative way by pupils. And 40% of pupils who experience homophobic bullying end up skipping school. Well, I'm joined now by Tim Ramsey, founder of the charity Just Like Us, which has organised the campaign, and Andrea Williams, who's chief executive of Christian Concern. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening.
Tim, let's start off with you. This is the first time we've had such a diversity week. I mean, what's its aim? What's it trying to do?
Well, I guess what it's not about is trying to sexualise or indoctrinate children. What it's really about is about well-being. Unfortunately, growing up LGBT is still so difficult, as you've seen in terms of school, but also 1 in 2 self-harm and 2 in 5 contemplate suicide, and we feel that's completely wrong. So what we want to try and do are 2 things. One is to combat and raise awareness about the damaging effects of homophobic, biphobic and transphobic bullying, but also send a really inspiring message to people who might be unsure of their sexuality or who are hiding it, that actually it's something to celebrate and it's a really positive thing.
Andrea, you may have a problem there because, you know, this is all going to be going out to all ages. This is not just secondary school children, this is primary school children. I mean, do you think that's appropriate?
Well, I think when we're looking at addressing this issue from the age of 7, I think that is far too young to be talking to our children about such issues. Just Like Us, this charity, one of us, this charity is called. And I think it's true to say that, of course, as human beings, the Christian teaching would say that each one of us is beautifully and wonderfully made, and that we should embrace one another. But that does not mean to say that we have to necessarily accept and have placed central into our education this idea that all lifestyles are equivalent, that all lifestyles bring equal good. And again, so what we here are seeking to celebrate, what's being celebrated here, is really the indoctrination of something, of a lifestyle, of a new prevailing cultural orthodoxy. And those that would disagree find themselves coming into much trouble.
Tim, seven years old, though. I mean, do you think that is too young? I mean, what Andrea said, is it too young to talk about these things?
Well, I think there are 2 points. One is that prejudice starts very young. I mean, for example, 1 in 2 primary school teachers have heard the word gay being used negatively and have heard homophobic bullying. We don't, with racism, wait until a child gets to 14 or 15 to say that it's not suitable to say that, not appropriate. The other thing to bear in mind is now 1 in 12 children are adopted by LGBT parents. And I don't think it's fair on the children in those primary schools or their parents in the playground to say that in some sense they are second-class family relationships when they can be equally.
And here what we need to be saying, what we need to be really teaching our children is that the parents are the ones that need to be introducing these sort of concepts to the children. The idea that we can normalise these things for children as young as 7, and that teachers, I mean, indeed, at the Christian Legal Centre, we're dealing with teachers who get suspended for gross misconduct for refusing to read books to children that promote homosexuality.
What about that, Andrea? The fact that at schools
lifestyle.
We're seeing, you know, that the homophobic bullying, as we said in our intro there. I mean, surely anything that can help, you know, tackle that is surely.
Of course, we're all against bullying of any kind, but certainly when it comes to teaching children about relationships as young as 7, what we need to be promoting is this beautiful model of marriage between man and a woman, and children within that construct. The idea, just for as young as 7, we're normalising lifestyles that...
I'm going to have to stop you because it's only fair that
I'm
Tim
sorry,
gets his say.
I think it's very unfair to say that a relationship between a man and a man or a woman and a woman can't be something that's loving and beautiful. And the thing
but you
for
want
me,
to promote this to 7-year-olds.
The important thing for me is I can't understand what parent would ever want their child to grow up in an environment where they can't feel confident to be themselves and where they can face prejudice which affects their schoolwork and stops them from being able to fulfil everything they can.
Refusing to promote this. Teachers are being sacked.
Tim and Andrea, I'm afraid we're out of time, but a very interesting conversation. Thank you very much. Now, more than 2 years after